Cobra Kai and Kickin It. Both of these shows mean a lot to me given the fact that I grew up with Kickin It, and you guys obviously know how I feel about Cobra Kai on this channel because this is all I ever talk about. So today I wanted to pair these two universes together and discuss who would win in an all-out setting. So not only are we going to be breaking down, oh my god, could Jack Brewer stole the Cobra Kai? Oh my god, yo, he's a Miguel Diaz victim. And we're also going to be seeing how Rudy stacks up in comparison to the other senseis within Cobra Kai. Now, for the record, we're going to be starting off with the Kickin It verse, which does not really have a lot of competent characters. Really, the main ones that are worthy of noting are Jack and Rudy, as they are considered to be pretty much some of the best fighters, if not the best fighters in their respective universe, which puts them in a similar type of status slash reputation with the students and senseis that participated within the sekai taikai, as like those guys, Jack and Rudy have gone up against other states and the best fighters in said states, showing clear relativity with the upper echelon of the Cobra Kai cast. While a lot of the average fighters are breaking cinder blocks by like the point of season 3 and 4, this man Jack is turning them into dust off of chopping a wooden board and delaying the effects 10 seconds later. I'm not gonna lie, this has to be such a weird flex. Like, nobody in Cobra Kai could do this shit, bruh. However, aside from Jack and like Kim sometimes, because she's also really strong but just not as strong as Jack, the other fighters are all honestly kind of ass. Like, the best one to know is maybe Jerry, who was like, what, an orange or a purple belt? All I know is that he definitely wasn't a black belt. Meaning, baseline, these guys are unironically Karate Kid 1 Cobra Kai goon victims, with Jack and Rudy substantially carrying the verse. Unlike in Cobra Kai, where the weaker characters, like Devin and Kenny, are somehow still competent enough to keep up with the stronger characters, like for example Tory and Yoon. Characters like Eddie, Jerry, Milton, and even Kim to an extent are just not pulling feats off like this. Jack, aside from this, however, doesn't really have specific techniques that he utilizes, and we know his reputation was as low as a 3rd degree black belt. Rudy, of course, is his sensei, and he's able to pretty much anticipate the opponent's moves on the same type of timing as Miyagi Do fighters. But like I said, aside from Rudy and Jack once again, the series doesn't really have many competent fighters within their main cast. And in terms of specific techniques, besides some flashy kicks and punches, I don't think Jack Brewer really has anything to know. He did have like special spy agent training, so I guess that's like another type of skill to his repertoire. But aside from this, there's really nothing else for me to go over, other than the fact that, oh my god, he has so much aura, bro. Oh my god, he walks so Miguel could run. Anywho, with Jack and Rudy now out of the way, let's move on to Cobra Kai, where unlike in Kickin It, we have a lot of our fighters being not only top tier fighters within the world, but even our strongest fighters having access to multiple styles that they then combine into one said style. These styles follow as Miyagi Do, taught by 2 different senseis such as Daniel and Chosen, Cobra Kai, which is taught by 3 different senseis not including Johnny Lawrence, and Eagle Fang karate, of course, which is Johnny's karate. I know I mentioned Jack like breaking cinder blocks, and even some of the other cast members can break solid wooden boards, but the majority of fodder fighters within Cobra Kai can destroy cylinder blocks and bend metal pretty casually. The Cobra Kai feats are performed far earlier on in the series, and the only one in Kickin It who really scales to this is Jack. As far as skill goes, even by early as season 2, these fighters can anticipate one's moves, negate your defense, and apply deadly offensive techniques, along with the ability to adapt at an incredible rate. Robby and Miguel in particular are able to close the massive gap that Axel established in between the times of parts 2 and 3 of season 6. Meaning, if Jack has some sort of advantage on Robby and Miguel, I'm sure they would be able to pick up on this and they would adapt pretty quickly. The senseis as well are able to utilize some pretty cracked techniques, while Rudy has some pretty godly anticipation and just pretty much looks like a young Mr. Miyagi. We know within Cobra Kai, the senseis are able to utilize pressure points, perform ridiculous strength feats, and with confidence amps, they somehow can close skill gaps with literally some of the best fighters in the world. I feel like both verses are pretty cartoonish. I know Kickin It is far more cartoonish and a little bit more campy, but by the end of Cobra Kai, these kids somehow become the best of the best. But how do they stack up against Jack Brewer and his crew? I just realized I said crew like Jack was in One Piece, bro. Anywho, when comparing their striking power, I believe they're honestly pretty neck and neck. Jack is able to destroy the cinder blocks pretty casually, but the other characters massively upscale from Kyler, who is able to destroy multiple of these with his forehead. I think both feats kind of even each other out and put Jack in that tier with the top fighters, maybe even having an edge due to being older. However, in every other category, I believe Cobra Kai blows Kickin It out of the water. Unlike in Kickin It, they not only have enhanced reflexes in Cobra Kai with training that specifically enhances it, they are able to anticipate and predict your moves along with quickly adapting to whatever you throw at them. Jack is very strong and he's fought spy agents and things like that, and I definitely agree that Kickin It is a lot more cartoonish than Cobra Kai, meaning I can see more people being inclined to believe that Kickin It would beat up Cobra Kai, but in my opinion, I don't even think Jack beats the likes of Hawk, let alone Robby, Miguel, or Axel in a one-on-one. And unfortunately for Rudy, the best feats in the series come from Jack and not Rudy himself, while the senseis are significantly stronger than their own students and massively upscale from them. Meaning, realistically, Johnny or like any of the competent senseis would probably kill Rudy in like 2 or 3 punches. And this is not even me exaggerating. Johnny has punched through concrete, bricks. These adults are cracked, bro. And the other fighters within the verse would just be light work too, considering they'd be fighting the likes of like Hawk Demetri and Kenny, or aka the B team, who are still contending with the best of the best, unlike the Kickin It crew. Again, I can see why Jack is portrayed to be much stronger than Cobra Kai, or why people are more inclined to believe that he is, but after the events of season 6, it's clear Jack still can't hang with the GOAT Miguel Diaz, and Larusso would clap Rudy's erasers.